Everybody ready to go? All right. Just start off. First off, proud of our players. Thought they came out. Um, we talked about wanting to start fast, and they absolutely did that. Jumped out to a 22-0 lead. You're there in the first quarter. Second quarter, you had some adversity that you struck in a couple different ways. Had some drives extended due to penalties. Had a few drives stall out there offensively. But we talk all the time about our response. You're coming out in the second half. We wanted to. We talk about finishing strong, and obviously the opening kickoff of the second half did not go the way we wanted. But you saw a tremendous response from our football team. 2 plays later, the big run by Trey. Obviously just the guys. The determination, the belief. Defense doesn't give up a point in the second half. I was really proud of them for that. I mean, as a team that was coming in, coming off their best game. You could see that the identity of what they're trying to do present some challenge with their quarterback. And I thought our guys, did a really good job there in the second half. We were better in our third down, fourth down situations. We're still really good in red zone situations. Forcing a field goal there early. Offensively, I think we scored every time we had the ball down there. Something we need to continue. There were some negative plays, things that we're going to have to get better at. But I was really proud of our guys for the response and being able to finish. And what an incredible crowd, sellout crowd. I mean, it was awesome being back at home. We're hopeful that we can continue that again for next week with another sellout. But I know there's very limited tickets, so hopefully we can put together a streak when it comes to that. But really excited about our fan base. Being back at home, letting our guys go out there and play at a high level here at Doak Campbell, and just like I said, proud of our players. And Trey had a big day. It was good to get him rolling. Obviously, we didn't have a ton of offensive snaps. We're I think 61 snaps. That's going to happen when you have the explosive runs. And but I did think we played with better tempo throughout, and definitely excited about the continued steps that I'm seeing from this team.
Hey, Mike, obviously Trey gave you a great day, but in general, the running attack, Jordan also getting involved in it, just how pleased were you with you guys coming out of bye and doing what you did on the ground?
No, it was good, and something we talked about. Wanting to be able to establish the ground game. We're going to take what teams give us, and there were some opportunities that were created. I thought our backs ran really hard. I thought that the O line created some good seams. For them to run through, and I tell you, there's some unbelievable blocks. Keon Coleman had a couple of great touchdown springing blocks. On that. I mean, and it's one thing to see a great player, which he is. And just to talk about what he does, catching the ball. But man, that block that he had on the long touchdown was just awesome, and I was so proud of him for that. But it's being able to play without the ball, and I think we had a lot of guys that were really doing a good job there, because it takes all 11. Jordan, got an opportunity to pull the ball. He had a little bit of space there, and I thought he did a great job of managing the game and the things we asked him to do. Didn't turn the ball over offensively. That's something that we really harp, and know the importance of that. And our guys have been doing a nice job with it, and something we're gonna have to continue.
Trey, it's taken him a little while to get going. How did he handle that? Like, just these last 2 weeks, the way the running game wasn't performing, did he get frustrated at all, or how did he handle it?
No, I mean, Trey is incredible. I mean, in all things. And even in the Clemson game, we didn't have the success in the run game, but he impacted that game, and he did it as a pass receiver. He had 3 big plays in the game, catching the ball out of the backfield. He's going to do whatever's necessary to help this team win. And we've got a lot of guys that are like that, and so he maintains the focus on improvement. I loved it. I mean, he trusted his speed. He saw a couple seams and he hit it. And then when he gets in the open field, it's a lot of speed and power running down the field. So I was proud of him for that. He's a great player and just a great teammate and young man.
Coach, what is it about Trey that makes him so special?
I mean, he's got the combination of all things that you want. He's big, he's powerful. Obviously he'll run tough in between the tackles, but also has the home run hitting speed when he gets out there on the edge. I think he's improved his game, as a pass receiver, which we've seen already this season. And his willingness to do the dirty work as a blocker too. So I mean, you talk about a total back. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are situational, but I mean he can really do it all, and he embraces that in his work ethic and the things that he does, and he's unselfish, which I mean you have a humble and unselfish player that's he's there when another back is in there, whether it's Rodney, LT, whoever it is. I mean he's the one that's there cheering him on louder than anybody, and he just it's what we want our program to be built like, and he's a great leader for that.
I guess two questions about Johnny. First off, him getting the end zone twice, 2 big catches to get the ball rolling, and how is he after that? Do we know at all? Because
no,
that was
I mean
obviously a big game for him.
we'll see. Obviously, wasn't able to come back. We'll see what that looks like. As we move forward to this week. But man, what a great start to the game. And Johnny's been really good for us this year. He's had him, coming in the game. I think he's over 300 yards receiving. But he hadn't been in the end zone, and being able to see him, do that, was big. But made a couple really good plays. It was good to see Destin, catch a big ball there that we needed. We had a couple missed opportunities, things that we continue to get better at. But I thought Jordan, really did a nice job of operating, and even some of the times when you might have got a little bit of pressure, he stayed patient. Didn't try to force things. And I think that was a great response from him, which helped push our offense.
Hey, Coach, can you talk a little bit about the offensive line rotation? You guys talk about going 8 deep. It seemed like all 8 guys got significant playing time today.
Yeah, well, we were a little bit short. A little bit shorthanded. Bless Harris was not able to play today, but you saw Darius Washington getting a start at tackle. We knew Rob Scott. He practiced this week. Probably wasn't ready for whatever it would be, 60, 80 plays, but we knew that we wanted to get him in. It was good to see him get in there and get some productive work. Obviously, Meach and KJ being able to get work there at the guard spot. I mean, I like the growth with our offensive line. It's going to be great when we get all 8 of them that are going, but it was also good seeing some of those young guys get in there, and I thought some good plays there late. We've got a really good group, and guys that are growing, they're developing, they're working hard in practice, but it's good to see the depth that has been developed and created. And I think we're seeing that across the board. Offensive side, but it's good to see Akeem Dent get back out. You'll be able to kind of work a little bit of a rotation there at safety. I mean, Conrad Hussey, made some really big plays. True freshman. Blake Nicholson got in there as a true freshman. I was really proud of those guys coming off the bye week, being able to make a positive impact for us, and I thought it was a good game for that.
You mentioned a couple of players like Robert Scott that were out, but you got Ja'Kai Douglas and Kentron back. What kind of impact did they make being back today?
Well, I mean, you just continue to add to the playmaking ability of what we have. Obviously those guys. It's been a challenging first month of the season for them. Getting them back in it and just building that confidence of all the things they can do. I think is going to continue to grow with time. But I love the depth that we have there at that position. I think we have some great playmakers, guys that just like today when Johnny went down, obviously you saw Kentron, you saw Akeem Williams, those guys stepping up. I don't know if it showed up in pass receptions, but it's going to. And those guys are you're going to be great players and just continuing to work and develop.
You talked about the adversity of the second quarter. It seemed like there was some frustration from defensive players in particular. I saw some frustration from you. I guess, how did you kind of think they handled
my frustration?
How do you?
Yes, I was frustrated.
How do you think they handled, the adversity of how things played out, and how big was halftime for recentering? It seems like that made a big deal.
I've got to do a better job in some of those situations of, because I was frustrated. And there's some, obviously we'll go back and watch film and learn and teach, and some of the things that showed up, I wanted an explanation, and so I voiced an opinion. But I've got to do a better job of making sure that even in voicing that opinion, that as a leader of this football team, I've got to make sure that our guys are staying focused on things they can control. There's times that I'm going to voice my opinion, and I'm going to just state exactly what I believe and what I saw, and we'll see what it says. They're here come probably Monday on some of those thoughts, but it's all part of it. And our guys, they always talk about having each other's back. I've got to have our players back, and they got to have mine sometimes. And we can all continue to grow and be better. I love coaching this team. I love their response, and that's one of the things. I know y'all hear me say that a million times. Well, that's what it was today, and that's what that's what I was proud of. We talk about want to start fast. We've not been as good as we needed to be. Well, that first quarter was a great fast start. Now, second quarter wasn't as good as it needed to be. All right, so it provides opportunity for continued growth, but to see the defense pitch a shutout and to have some big plays there offensively in the second half, that was a heck of a way to finish. So a lot of good things to be able to build upon. And this is coming off a team that just played their best game in Virginia Tech. They've got some good players, athletic guys on the defensive front. That was it was good. It was a good test for us, and pretty proud of our guys.
In that second quarter, you guys could not have been more dominant in the first quarter. Did you sense any of what you saw at BC in the second quarter, or was that not the case?
There was some penalties that extended drive, with interception that was overturned. That would have been a huge play in the game. We had a couple other things that showed up. We had on one of our drives offensively, we had a penalty that negated what would have been a conversion. So obviously it's all things that we can be better at. We can continue, but I didn't feel like our guys that played were playing with an edge. It wasn't, some of the things that we saw earlier in the season. There wasn't about a comfort level, and they were playing hard. They were playing fast. We have the pick there, 22, nothing. And it's about to go a whole other way, but he landed on them. So that was something that we have to continue to teach the best way we can teach, and we'll go from there.
This wasn't the question I was going to ask, but was the explanation that he landed on him? Was that the penalty? Okay. Here's the question I was going to ask. Getting that kind of production out of Jared, obviously he's been very good all year, but those were two monster plays that he had, and what's that like to see him do that and impact the game like that?
Well, Jared's been probably the last two games coming into this one, probably been as good as he's been since he's been here. And, it's one thing you get caught up on, stats sometimes will lie to you, and sometimes they're good, and sometimes they're not as good. But I thought he played these last two games as good as he's played, and then today, just continuing to build upon that, and the production showed up. He had the 2 sacks. Obviously, there were huge plays in the game. Great, energy for our defense. Big plays, big situations, and so I'm very proud of him for just staying the course. There's some things from today's game he'll still grow and learn and get better from, because that's the mindset that he brings. And I think we've seen that from a lot of guys. Our defensive front is really doing a lot of great things, and you see the depth. Josh Farmer's playing at a high level. Fabian, you see him getting back into form. Dennis Briggs is out there, making good plays. Braden Fisk. All those guys. That Malcolm Ray. They're inside, and then I saw Gilbert Edmond flashed a couple times today. And really kind of challenging him to take that next step, and I thought he did. Obviously Byron, and then Pat has been. Coming off that Boston College game, I think he's responded. Clemson played great, and I saw him do some really good things here today. So, just a shout out to our defensive line for the work they're putting in, and obviously the production that they're having.
I know that the time you spend on special teams, I guess, what was the issue, or what was it? What VT did and what y'all didn't do on the kickoff return that set that up?
We obviously there were some mistakes on our end, and we've got bad leverage. We didn't set the edge where we wanted to. They're on it, and they ran a field return, something that we practiced for, and actually expected. But we had a couple guys that took wrong leverage angles and got pinned and just created too much space. And so we spend a lot of time. We take a lot of pride in our coverage units. For that to happen, we will get it fixed. And but that's obviously was a huge play, and I'm grateful for all players in helping bounce back and have the kickoff teams back and being able to finish that game.
Last one, we're going to go to Ira on the right.
2 for 1.
No, just one. You mentioned earlier the young guys getting in there, and I think Coach Fuller said during the week that they wanted to force Blake and Conrad, some of those guys in the game. Is that kind of with the mindset of like what maybe they can do for you guys towards the end of the season? And And
for what they can do for us now.
Really?
I mean, we think we're not going to put somebody on the field if we don't think they can help us win football games today. Like, this is not, a feel good. Oh, hey, let's do. Like, you got to go earn it. Now, we got really good players that are growing and developing that have yet to get on the field, but are going to have incredible careers here. Those guys have shown, whether in practice, whether continued growth opportunities that they're getting, out there on the field, that they are deserving, and as they continue to produce and grow, they'll get more. I'm excited about what this class that we just brought in. Really excited about that group. I think we got a lot of great players, and like I said, some of them that are not even playing very much right now or at all, but have incredible futures, and just it's all part of that growth. And but some are putting them in a position to help us right now, and so they're playing more. All right, thank you guys.